the investors in this part of the world are still with the thinking that, well, a lot of them think that they want to take a majority of a startup. What do you think about that?
Okay. With the final pitch, the first season actually had, in some ways, and not saying all, that kind of a thinking. Through no fault of their own, because traditionally businesses were built on monopoly, on being able to corner a market because you either have majority or have an unfair advantage that pretty much allows you to dominate
Yeah,
an industry.
every business in the end wants to get to monopoly. They don't say it, but that's,
Exactly. But with startups, and if you want to work with startups, that is the exact complete opposite way to approach it. Because, and this is something also that I learned from Peter Diamandis, and actually something that when I heard this, I'll be honest with you, it brought me to tears. And this is funny because imagine I'm in a room, maybe 100 people, with business leaders from around the world listening to Peter Diamandis say this, and I was actually in a corner of that room weeping. And this is what he said. He said, you're here all listening to me, and what I can share with you is that, if you are in a company, a fairly large one that can possibly work with startups, please do not invest just your money. And please do not take majority. Because these startups, they need to grow, they need to thrive. Allow them to be able to thrive using your network. Allow them to use resources, but never, ever take majority. Because once you do that, then you're effectively killing that startup. They want to work with you, and you should work with them because you want to be able to work together and create something big, but not necessarily as big as what you have, but to create value in this world that is going to be beyond what you have but working together.
So extend your network, extend your arms of support for them, and don't take the majority.
Exactly, because the predatory kind of investing that used to be the kind of thinking
which
before,
got them there in the first place.
exactly, is not applicable especially for startups and working with them, right? I mean, you have these companies that have their own internal ventures. That's another thing. That's fine.
Yeah, they own it anyways.
Exactly. But a startup is a startup because there's this guy who had a brilliant idea that if you take a majority stake, you're actually killing.
You're completely demotivating them.
Exactly. And that's going to kill not just that idea, but imagine the spirit
Yeah, you
of
leave
that
someone
startup.
with 10% and they accept because they have no money, and now he's demotivated. So what do you really get?
You own a big majority piece of nothing,
Of nothing.
right? So, I think with the final pitch, we saw that early on. But as the years progressed and as we had more seasons under our belt, and as people, were watching our show, the kind of sophisticated thought that comes into learning through the years that, hey, that actually is not a good thing. And that there should be more considerations other than what success got me here, the tactics that probably, or thinking that got me here, that shouldn't be the case, at least with startups. So happy to say that there has been an improvement, but I feel like there's so much that needs to be learned still up till this day.
If you had $1 million to invest now, what kind of a startup would you invest in, or what kind of sector do you think is the most promising for the future?
Okay, can I change that? Can I refine that question?
Sure.
I think for me, it wouldn't be actually investing in a sector. It would be investing in a person who I feel, regardless what they do, they're going to do everything in their power to be able to find a solution to the problem that they're trying to solve.
So you really believe in investing in the right person. It's all about the person, the team.
It's-
So you
it's-
put team above everything else, above the idea, above everything else. You're saying if the team is good, or the person, that one person in that team that's pitching to you is good and he has the ability to turn things around, then for you, that's everything.
Right. Because I think the person is more important than the sector. I think, there are brilliant entrepreneurs out there. You put them, in whatever sector, they will shine.
Right.
Because not only are they good, but because they're good people.
I've never
Right?
heard this answer before. I mean, there's always a few other things, but for you, it's really interesting, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah. And I think also, a good person who is ethical, who knows the value of working with other people, respecting other people.
So values above skills or below skills?
No, values above skills for sure.
All right.
More important, I mean, EQ is way more, it's way higher in my value system than IQ. You know, you could be brilliant, you can be the most intelligent, high IQ person that I've ever met, but I will respect the one who is kinder more.
You know,
right?
Jeff Bezos, he says it's harder to be kind than to be clever.
Oh,
And I'm sure, harder to be kind than to be clever, because being kind is the hard thing. Being clever, you could be very clever. You could be born clever.
right. Yeah.
So I think it goes back to what you're saying about the EQ above the IQ kind of thing, where you need to be good, genuinely a good person with good values. If you're not a good person, at some point it will catch up with you. You
Exactly.
steal someone's money, do
Exactly.
something wrong that you're not supposed to be doing with your smartness. Then,
Right. Right. And I want to be, I want to feel good, and I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that my investment is in someone who's going to do great things with it. Right.
Right.